Set to take place Wednesday night at the University of North Carolina campus. Classes at the university have been canceled since the shooting and are set to resume Thursday.
We need to do something about the easy access to and proliferation of guns. The culture of gun violence just seems to become an acceptable norm. Like this is somehow we're supposed to just accept and live with this as part of our lives, and I believe doesn't have to be that way. I believe, as hard as it is, that law and policy needs to change so that these incidents are not such a frequent occurrence, and so that guns are not as ubiquitous as candy on Halloween.
The alleged shooter, Tylee Chi, has been arrested, faces charges, and is held without bail. Police say the deceased professor knew Chi and was his academic advisor. The Houston Independent School District announced plans to eliminate 28 traditional libraries, turning those spaces of learning into discipline centers. The school district was recently taken over by the state education agency amid claims of poor academic performance and mismanagement. School officials say the change is part of a larger reform effort and evolution in education.
In a community where so many kids are behind in reading, why would you disrupt the library of all places?
So I want to challenge that characterization. There weren't that many libraries that were changed, and there's still a library. We're sitting in a library. We didn't.
It's not a traditional library.
It's not a traditional library because the kids don't have a librarian, but kids are reading more now.
Some Houston ISD parents and librarians are pushing back, saying this change is putting kids in the middle of a political fight. HCS Renewable Energy LLC of Warden and El Campo laid off 62 employees. The layoffs were announced on June 18th. HCS Renewable Energy is a solar subcontractor. And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, hot and dry, hot and dry.
Yeah, in fact, that's all we got from the big storm on the East Coast. Idalia gave us the backwash, basically the backside of it, and that's a dry air that came through our area and got us up to 103 degrees today. Now, eventually, this is all going to change as the sea breeze comes back and starts bringing us a little bit of moisture. Speaking of moisture, yeah, it's still raining throughout the southeast. This is part of the storm. We'll be talking more about that and got some video on it as well. Stay tuned. We'll have more on that coming up in a moment. Karina?
Mac, thank you. We now go to Hawaii, where the aftermath and recovery of the Maui wildfires will last for decades. And now one firefighter recounts the events of that deadly day.
It's difficult to describe how ferocious this fire was in Lahaina on August 8th. Maui Fire Chief Brad Ventura says unless you were there, you will never know.
The fire was spotting in structures over their heads. The way they described it to me was the fire moved so rapidly through the neighborhood that it was moving like a wildfire moving through grass, but it was burning structures.
Chief says many of his firefighters were trapped themselves. He says that no one gets left behind mentality, and training is the only reason they made it out alive.
The heat and the wind and the blockage of the roads at that time, you know, they're heroes for getting out of there. They are incredible individuals for just being able to keep their poise, make the right decisions.
Chief, number one in command, wasn't on island that deadly afternoon. He was taking his daughter to college in Colorado, but booked a flight back home as soon as he could.
It was very tough to be away from our people, you know, especially during such a time of need. Yeah, absolutely. We're a close-knit community. We're a close-knit fire department. Nobody is unaffected by this. And just knowing that my firefighters are hurting is difficult.
2 fire engines are completely destroyed, and 15 firefighters lost their homes.
For our community, we hurt with you all the way through it. We have firefighters that grew up in Lahaina. They're multi-generational Lahaina families. Nobody in our department's unaffected. Nobody in our county is unaffected. And it's possible it's the same with the whole state.
Chief Ventura wants the people of Lahaina and the world to know that every single firefighter gave it everything they had. Reporting in Lahaina, I'm Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
This is breaking news from 25 News Now.
We have received information about shots fired near Christ Kitchen. We have a reporter on scene, Adam Seibel, with more.
That's right. So right before 5 o'clock today, we heard of shots fired today. So this is around Christ's Kitchen. Actually, rather 6 p.m. today, we got reports of shots fired here near Warren Avenue. This is right outside of Christ's Kitchen. So this is a very active, very recent crime scene. So our reporter Howie Gordon was on scene, and he said one man was taken by ambulance. So that man suspectedly shot. Howie did say he appeared to be breathing and alive as he was taken into ambulance. So the reason this is so active and developing is because the suspect, possibly one shooter, could be more, but the suspect, whoever shot that person, VPD, Victoria Police, still very actively looking for that suspect. So again, this is Warren Avenue just before 6 p.m. We got reports of shots fired, so you can see lots of Victoria Police presence. Right over there is the crime scene. So Zach, if you want to pan over there again and see how he was first on scene, and like I said, he actually saw that man get taken away by ambulance right when we got on scene about 5 minutes ago. He was leaving by ambulance. And again, very active crime scene, and the suspected shooter still VPD still looking for that shooter. So very active if you can avoid the area, but VPD looking for that suspected shooter. We don't have any word of that suspect or suspects in custody. So like I said, very active. Come back for crossroadstoday.com for more updates, and we'll provide them as we get them. Back to you in the studio.
Adam, thank you. And like he said, we will have updates on our Crossroads Today page.